This is your host, Jeremy Ledbetter, here back for another post reaction review video for the Mandalorian season 3 already, which is crazy. Episode 2 and 3. Because last week I was a bit late making the review for episode 2. So I figured this week I'll kind of just, make it into two things. So starting with episode 2, and then we'll do another part for season 3, okay? So, starting off, if you guys are new here, could you do me the huge favor and make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, all of those, buttons down there, you guys know what to do, and then, if you guys like the video, I'm just now starting out, and I'm basically learning how to do all this from scratch. So do know this, that it's a work in progress, and so far I'm having fun doing it, and being able to get some feedback from you guys, my audience, and friends, in all of the fandom. Because I mostly plan on doing these review videos, breakdowns, my thoughts, all of that stuff. And so doing all of that was something I really wanted to do, and being able to share my thoughts and my my beliefs and all that about whatever we're watching, whether it's a movie, a series, an animation, whichever. So if you guys can make sure you subscribe, do all that stuff, follow me. I'm again just starting off, so you can only, what's the saying? There's only the only way to go from here is up. So I want to say thank you guys for hopping on board and riding with me on this adventure as we make our ways up to stardom. So anyway, let's get into this. So episode 2, the name of it, Minds of Mandalore. This episode we get to see finally live action Mandalore, and not just any part of Mandalore, but it's the city most prominently shown in the Clone Wars, which was the horrific spot we mostly see in the Clone Wars animated show, the city of Sundari, with the group, the New Mandalorians, which is run by Duchess Satine, which is the older sister to Bo-Katan Kryze. She is also the older sister of Bo-Katan Kryze, Duchess Satine Shan Kryze. And so another cool little thing, which they really showed this in the Clone Wars animation, is there was a big time relationship that ended up going on between Obi-Wan Kenobi and this was mostly done during times when Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon were on mission there, so that's a cool detail. But the city of Sundari, unfortunately, is just in total ruins after the was it Night of 1,000 Tears, the official purge of stuff. So the city is just completely destroyed. But picking up, let's see, episode 2. So starting off, I do give this whole episode an 8 out of 10, just for great world building, and stuff like that. It was nice to see, but going from there, we see, in this episode, he's gonna be needing a droid to help him go doing, getting air samples, soil samples, all that stuff to make sure the planet, the air, the water, all of that is habitable. So he goes to his good old friend, Grief Karga, who is now head administrator for the planet Navarro, which, man, has that thing never looked so well run. That you see him walk up, greeting Mando, and here he's all decked out, blinged out. He's got huge freaking jewelry on. I mean, dude is such representing so much, with his clothes, that he's even got little droids on the bottom of his gown that are literally holding the corners up off the ground so that they're not dragging across the street and everything. I was like, that is cool. I like his character and everything, so it's a nice little touch. But he is needing some. Is going to be needing to get a droid and all that can help him. Everything. And so he wants to go back to get his old friend, IG-11, which most of this took place in the first episode and everything. So don't need to go too much back into that. But knowing he's got another friend that might possibly have what he's needing, which is that chip piece that would be able to give them basically reboot the remaining memory circuits and unlock them, allowing IG-11 to go back to that one programming that was overpowering his the new download that Creel did to him back at the end of season 1, which ended up allowing him to want to go and protect little baby Yoda and everything. Because as you see in episode 1, he goes and tries attacking because he defaulted back to that programming. So he arrives on Tatooine to come and see good old Pelimato and everything. And of course, he pulls in, and who's his other new friend? Good old Pelimato, who is in the middle of swindling and totally scamming out this one person who was getting conned again. It was just a big hoot seeing that. So he was, yeah, that was just hilarious. So she calls in, the Jawas and everything, and even they didn't have the piece that was needed for all of those. Ask them for the little piece, about that would help them unlock good old IG-11's memory to allow him to help. And even they, Jawas, who were like experts with all these pieces, was not even able to get him this little piece of hardware, unfortunately. So she ends up hooking him up with his own little droid, reinstalls the droid socket, and hooks him up with the R4 or R5, R4, that looks so much like the one that Jawas sold to, or tried to sell to Owen Mars in A New Hope. Thankfully, it wasn't the same one, because, man, that would have been some major rewiring, fixing, and all that on the Jawas part. But yeah, that didn't. He ended up getting him, which that was just hilarious work done. So she helps him, talks the droid into going and joining him and saying, you're a top of the line astromech droid. You're supposed to be out there flying through the galaxy, taking on and fighting tyranny in every corner of the galaxy. Blah 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 blah. And all R4 does is like, nope, not this droid. Yeah, they get R4, they hop in the N1 and take off, and they end up arriving in the Mandalore system. And this was a good scene, was seeing really amazing scenes between Mandalore and a few of the other planets in the system, along with moons and all that. And that's one thing I wish we had here in our solar system, was 1 or 2 moons that were so close to the Earth and the moon that because of where they are, they'd also be considered in the Goldilocks zone, making them able to hold on to water, all that. It would just look beautiful at night. But so that whole scene of Din Djarin, telling Grogu that to be a Mandalorian, you must know how to navigate the stars, which is now seeing that to be a Mandalorian, you need to be able to look at star charts and navigate your way through the galaxy, so that you're never lost. You can always find your way through the galaxy and everything. So that was nice to see, and how he tells Grogu that he himself has never been the fact that in telling Grogu that yeah, I've never set foot on this planet at all before you, was a very touching scene, that he's never been there at all his whole life, and everything. So very stuffy and everything. So but here they are making their way down to the surface of the planet and everything, and they land, and out goes R4 going into the cave to get some sips, and everything seems good, but then all of a sudden, bloop, there goes R4 off the scanner and the tracker that he just set up so that Grogu could watch him and everything, and telling him, saying, here's the little monitor screen, the little red dot has just disappeared, making Grogu, start to freak out, like, where's my buddy, and everything. So out hops Mando. He's like, okay, fine, stay here, kid, get in your pod, I'll go and find out where he is and everything. Thankfully, yeah, so seeing him hop out there, and hearing him breathing through his helmet, knowing that, there's only so much atmosphere, and the amount of atmosphere that he's got to have, yeah, it was just a neat little scene. But alright, he gets to the cave, and is looking down over the ruins of Sundari, and bam! Here comes these warriors that looked so much like the creatures from the movie, a movie called Time Machine, which is funny. But what we call the Warlocks or whatever, where they're like a pre-evolved version of humanity. Yeah. Anyway, I was kind of hoping that they were going to end up being the Legends version of the original race to exist on the original inhabitants of the planet Mandalore that ended up becoming the first Mandalorians, you know, and everything. Seeing him take out those guys was pretty neat. Of course, we see him whip out the Darksaber, and still seeing him struggle to ignite it, and then, you know, seeing it weighing down so much. It does make me wonder if they're trying to say that maybe he does have some kind of connection with the Force that is doing this, and it would add up as to why it's adding so much more to his fighting abilities, that if he is Force sensitive, then the sword is using so yeah, something's going on there, but I think it's going to come down to him needing to actually believe in himself that he is worthy to be an official leader and able to lead the Mandalorians as a whole troop, a whole family even. So until he's got that, you know, he's not going to be able to really take command until he believes that he is the man for the job. But he manages to take those guys out, so that was nice to see. We skip ahead to where he finds out that Mandalore is okay. Of course, he found R4, you know, just tossed over, just a few feet over, acting like, you know, oh, what happened, you know, freaking out, which is kind of funny. But you know, he saves them, takes them back out to the ship, lets Grogu know, hey, your buddy's okay, all this stuff. But knowing that something's not adding up, because here these are, these creatures that obviously are humanoid, and here they are breathing. They were, you know, out in the open with no pressure suits on, and they were themselves wearing no armor or, you know, helmets for, you know, atmosphere or anything. So knowing that, you know, he checks the readings, has R4 do the proper scans and everything, and lo and behold, he says, you know, the sayings were wrong. You know, Mandalore is not cursed. You know, the air is breathable. There's the radiation levels are, you know, non-existent. And it's totally habitable. You know, the lies, you know, of everything, you know, were just, you know, that of lies to keep the Mandalorian people away from the planet so that they would not unite and solidify and become a true fighting force, like they were in the old times. So it's gonna be nice to see when they get to that point again. So skipping ahead to the point where Grogu and Din Djarin are, you know, making their way further down below the city streets. that whole scene of both Din and Grogu standing up to the cliff. Here, let's turn this a little bit. Standing up to the cliff and saying, Bo-Katan said that those coordinates were here, so we gotta go here. And seeing those two jump off the cliff, and just, make their way down. Grogu, just so casually in his little pod, floating down on his repulsor lifts, and then, of course, Mando using his jetpack to slow himself down, was amazing. Good photos and all that stuff. So they get down there, all that stuff, and seeing all that was, I loved that. That was pretty cool. Down in the tunnels and everything, we can see, more and more of the damage and everything. And they come across some of the other city tunnels and everything, and eventually they get to a point where they come across some spread out pieces of armor, which he thinks, okay, this is it. So he picks up an old Mandalorian helmet. The T-visor, the little the piece there has been, blown out and everything. To me, it kind of reminded me of the old Mandalorian Neo Crusader helmet style look. I don't know, it might have been different, but yeah, something like that. But here he is checking out the helmet, which is a nice helmet and everything. You can tell it's old, but all of a sudden, bam! A huge droid, its legs and arms close in around him, capturing him. That was pretty crazy, seeing all that, and man, that was a pretty jumpy scene even for me. And takes him Din Djarin back to his little hideout that was like pretty much a few miles into the road, or into the little cave system, and thankfully the droid did not see Grogu or anything, and so Grogu follows him and stays hidden, and Din Djarin ends up telling him, I'm stuck, pretty much, so go get Bo-Katan, and bring her back here. I need your help, we both need your help. At first he didn't listen, so he goes in there and he tries to unlock the cage himself and everything, and the first thing he does, in watching and everything, you see he tries to go in there as the big droid locks down the cage that he caught Din Djarin in, locks it down, and then goes and hooks up to this one power station, and all of a sudden this little lid on top of the huge drone and platform and everything, and you see the thing pop open on the top, and out comes this little smaller, this thing was gross, but out pops this smaller, more menacing drone-like thing. It kind of looked like the droid from the Marines version of a General Grievous. What was the name of it? Amy or something. Comes out and starts coming over to Din Djarin. Here he is, disarming him. He takes away his blaster, takes away the Darksaber, not knowing really what it was and everything. Throws them away, and starts throwing all his weapons on the ground and everything, and Grogu tries, once the droid walks off, tries using the Force to using the Force to try and force open the lock. Didn't work, so the droid tries attacking him, and here's Grogu just spinning around and everything, jumping around out of the way. And it was pretty crazy shot and everything. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But he gets into his little pod, which that was hilarious. You know, when he was sneaking around, and you see him like, you know, walking around, sneaking, you know, being all covert and everything. That was hilarious. So he gets off, gets up into his little carriage. Seeing him input commands, and it turns the thing, and he just takes off down the tunnel. Of course, nearly getting his head bit off by one of these little dragons that was hiding off in the corner. And yeah, seeing that creature pop out of that tunnel was pretty crazy. So eventually he makes it to the top level, which was pretty impressive. You know, he's dodging all these these smaller lizards, even mini dragons and everything. And here he goes. He gets to the landing platform, hovers right up to the side of the ship, uses the Force to input commands on the outer keypad, so the cockpit lid opens up. Does a front flip through the air, landing, uses the Force, closes the lid, and here he is pointing to the screen, which is the planet where Bo-Katan currently is, where their house is located. And here R4 takes off and flies out there, and I'm like, okay, that was cool. It was nice to see that. And yeah, it gives me a fan theory that in the future, say 10-15 years down the road, we're gonna see Din Djarin he'll be flying in the future with this ship and other pursuing fighters and everything. And Din Djarin's going to have a bigger ship, and what I want to see is that this bigger ship has a docking garage, and the N1 can park inside there, and this ship will be able to hold in a little docking garage is where the N1's going to sit, and this ship is where Grogu is going to be staying in, and he's going to be flying escort for Mando and everything. So that was cool to see. But he makes it to Bo-Katan, and then here she comes out, about ready to tell him, get the hell out of here, leave me alone and everything. And up pops the head of Grogu, and she's like, you can tell the emotions on her face go from like, what the hell are you doing back here, you ruined my life, kind of basically, in so many ways, about ready to tell him off. But then all of a sudden she sees Grogu's head pop up, and instantly on her face it goes from what I just said to instant regret, instant regret and everything, and asks, where is he, what happened to him, and you hear him kind of moan a little bit, and she instantly gives the command to download all the information from the R4 droid, and which the droid does, and they end up flying off in her Mandalorian gauntlet ship, which was amazing to see and everything. So here they are inside a Mandalorian gauntlet ship, which, oh, I love that ship. It looks awesome. Mando definitely needs one. But we see Mando definitely needs a ship like this. But alright, so she has Grogu in this ship with her, and they're flying off, and she's telling him about, you know, how this ship may be the last of a lot of these in the supply of ships that I have. But, you know, she's talking to him, to Grogu, about how the surface of Mandalore didn't always look like this, to be a barren wasteland and everything, and but how it used to look. But she gets there, you know, and we see some scenes in sequence that were just amazing choreography, and really gives us an idea just how much of a badass that Bo-Katan Kryze really, truly is, and stuff. So we see her, you know, talking with Grogu when they're in there, and Grogu's seeing a lot of these creatures that were just, you know, a few minutes ago scaring the crap out of him, nearly killing him, biting his head off and everything. Here he is back in here again, you know, he's like freaking out and everything. But you know, excuse me, I'm still so enjoying the experience of just watching this episode. Again, I've probably seen it like 3 or 4 times now, and this is just episode 2. I've seen episode 3 too, but so she gets in there, she saves him. She, you know, we get to see her use pretty much all of her gadgets. You know, the smaller energy shield, the little mini her cable on everything, which she ends up using to get a hold of the Darksaber and pulls it to her, and ignites that Darksaber. And man, when she whips that thing out and activates it, we see her go to town on this droid and just start slicing him up to pieces, which of course he makes it to you know, gets into starts slicing him to bits and everything. And meanwhile, here's, you know, Din Djarin still all, you know, held together and just confined in that cage and everything. And so she puts him down and everything, and here she is just going to town on this droid. And after she finishes off the droid, she comes up to Din and is like, yo, you okay, man? Come on, Din. You know, pretty much asking, you know, are you good to go when you get out of here? And she's like, wait, come on, you trying to say something? Say, behind you! And then here comes the bigger piece, all because she let that little head of the smaller droid get away and connect with the bigger thing. And which was pretty crazy and funny to see, but because that's where one spot most Jedi wouldn't have failed with, is most Jedi are able to use the Force to catch these dangers in the Force and all that. So so she goes to town on him, slicing up the rest of his that droid body. Hearing Mando or hearing her say, you know, cut him up or whatever, and, you know, slicing off limbs, just sliding underneath it, cutting open its belly and everything, just showing that she spent years training with this saber, and that she really does show that she is a capable fighter and is willing to do what she needs to do to protect protect her people and all that. And so then she gets him out, you know, takes him back up to the top of the city, and is like, okay, why don't we just rest here and everything, and we will get our strength back and everything. And he ends up passing out, but wakes up later on, and to see her, you know, with her helmet off, sitting next to with Grogu sitting there, like him going like this, looking at the cup, with seeing her sitting there like, ooh, food, I can smell that, what is it? Oh, it smells so good. And seeing a lot of the memes and all that, the information coming out, I agree, I would love for this to happen, but and I could see it happening. Possibility that both Din Djarin, and Grogu end up becoming, or Din Djarin becomes involved in a relationship with Bo-Katan Kryze, and I myself honestly would be definitely okay with this, and our seeing the possibility of these two together, and possibly a future where, you know, here he is, the new Mandalorian leader and everything, and here she is, basically the Mandalorian queen, and here is Grogu, the Mandalorian Jedi slash basically prince and everything. But this title, this arrangement would make him both the new Mandalorian Jedi, but also make him the abilities to yeah, it was just a nice scene. But eventually, you know, he's like, she tells him, like, you know, just rest, get your strength back and everything, and I'll help you get back to your to the surface, and I'll take you back to your ship and everything. And here he tells her, like, you know, thanks, but no thanks. I will take you back to your ship. We need to finish what a game came here for. I need to bathe in the magical waters and be redeemed, and so that I can be accepted in my clan again, and not be an apostate, you know, and be rejected, but instead be accepted. Instead, it's just, there's so much to be done and everything, but she's like, okay, fine, you know what, I'll help you, I'll take you down to these waters. They're not all that much, you know, that you think they are, but I'll take you down there because you're not going to find them anyway, and evidently, you know, you need me to be here to help save you again. But so they end up getting down there, and she ends up getting him down there, but there's one touching scene that was really good, and that was the scene of her talking with him on a very intimate level. And this scene was that of seeing her open up to him, which I think is probably the first person she's opened up to. Yeah, it was probably the first time that she's really opened up with anyone. And she tells him about it, her dad having died during the siege of Mandalore, and died protecting everything, and he does pays ultimate honor and respect to this is the way and everything. And you see, after he pays, you know, the honor and respect to a man evidently that means so much to Bo, but he himself has never met, probably never even heard of, and he shows the honor and respect, in honor of the memory of him, and that's it. And this, in fact, strikes home for Bo, because you see her stop, and her face is just like awestruck, and because here she is, like just standing there, dazed, and touched, and Grogu looks at her, and you can see on her face, she's like, oh crap, I'm caught, like, yeah, it was a funny, cute little moment, and you hear her say, what are you looking at Grogu, and he's like, nothing, here I am, I'm just, floating along, right here, don't mind me. So it's a cute little moment between Space Dad and Space Mom, and then between, Mommy Mando taking care of, her son Mando. It was a nice little scene to show us. So they end up making it to the little temple, and they find she, wanting to give him the whole experience, reads from the plaque, which is stuff about, here, was believed to be the ancient tomb or temple, or not temple, the nest of a mythosaur, and this mythosaur is to be believed the one that the great Mandalore the Great, in fact, this is the one that he tames and takes control of, and eventually earns the respect and becomes the first Mandalore, and everything. So that was cool to see. So she's like, yep, as you can see, there's just water inside a cave. Yeah, so we go now, and here, as she's watching him, like thinking in her head, like, okay, come on, let's go, it's just water. He starts taking off his jetpack, his cape, and stuff like that. Takes off his blaster, his dark saber, and everything, begins reciting the same message that the young boy was busy so here he is, reciting the rites and everything, and as he's getting to a certain point, the camera zooms in on Bo-Katan's face, and you can see something is just clicking in her head. It's like it's hitting home for her. It's like something is really just clicking in her head, and you can tell that something is going on, and she is starting to really believe in this dude in such a good way, and everything. So, but right before he's about to finish these last few words, which was going to be towards the end of his this message, and all of a sudden, boom, he's gone. Something in the water grabbed him or whatever, or at first I thought maybe he slipped and fell into this open chasm, and what really got me was the fact that Bo-Katan, when you see the camera is zoomed in on her face, you see her face go from this a picture of just straight up respect and honor, goes from that and jumps immediately to, holy crap, what happened to him? I need to get here and save him. In just a few seconds, that whole scene switched like that, and here she is. She's got her helmet on, and she's diving into the water, activating her jetpack to give her a big boost of thrust, taking off, and she comes upon him, and here he is, passed out, and she's looking around, and nothing's there. So she gets her arms up underneath him. She's trying to talk to him, but he must be knocked out, for some reason. And she gets him up, and she ignites her jetpack and is flying off, and just a few meters away from getting near where she would have passed into the territory, relatively close to where it was, where those steps were. Boom! You see this giant horn, and then you see a bigger skull moving, and then you see this just dark, round, fleshy, what looks like to be an eyeball, blink, and then the iris moves and then looks directly at us on the camera, and just from the outline and everything, that right there was a freaking mythosaur, a living, breathing, legendary mythosaur. And you hear what sounds like words, but you see bubbles, just bursting out from underneath her helmet. And I knew exactly what she was saying, the couple of words, and I could picture and hear and say them right now, and it was like a WTF, like, what the fuck, what the hell, holy crap, stuff like that. And and she ends up, forgetting to dial down the thrust as she exits the water with him going full throttle. They fly and land and everything, and she gets up, she's looking or whatever, and of course that's where the episode ends. And so I give that episode, it had a lot of good things in it, but for the way it ended and all that, I give it a good 8 out of 10 and everything. I take away a point because, leaving it at a cliffhanger and everything like that, but it was still a good episode. Not quite 9 out of 10, but enough that it was good and enjoyable. So my next video will post probably tomorrow. This will be about episode 3, which was just a few days ago. I'm gonna make sure to get that one out as soon as possible. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it ran a bit long, here it is like 48 minutes long, but I wanted to make sure and get and talk and just get my idea, my excitement for you guys to see. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, so you'll know whenever I get another video out. And so this is fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And make sure and keep an eye out for my next video. This next episode was the episode was a bit longer, which was awesome. So it's gonna be good. That episode is gonna be just out tomorrow, so make sure you you keep an eye out for it and everything. And again, for that one, like, subscribe, all those good things. It's gonna help out the channel so much. And for me, I'm doing this channel because I running it because it's something other than having to go and do a boring 9-to-5 job. So getting to talk about movies, TV shows, video games, anything pretty much, and give my 2 cents, my idea, my likes, dislikes, all of that stuff. So I hope you guys again enjoyed my reaction, my review, and just enjoyed listening to me talk and everything. So You guys have a good night or good day, good morning, any of those things. So you guys take care, and I will see you in the next video. This is again your host Jeremy Ledbetter signing out from Nerdwatch 101, and take care, and remember, the Force will be with you always. Peace.